Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Elevating Us podcast, where we discuss how to enhance and excel your personal journey. Y'all, it has been literally almost a month since we have recorded, and we're going to get into the depths of why, because I thoroughly believe that with being a life coach, with being a motivational speaker, with being someone that can influence and really help the next person on their journey, you have to be thoroughly transparent. And that's not only showing the good side, but that's also showing the challenging side as well. And it's crazy because I literally just had this conversation with my best friend, and we're going to get into why it is important to be transparent. But before we start that, this week's episode, we are going from burnout to restoration, okay? We are going from burnout to rejuvenation. We're going to talk about all the things because I got to get y'all up to date, and we got to help one another in our elevated life community, honey, so that we can do what? Evolve, enhance, and excel. That's right. So we're going to go ahead and get right into it. I'm going to start with my personal story, because what better advice can I give than to first start off with my own experience, and then we're going to pair it with that knowledge, because honey, knowledge is key. Wisdom is everything. And if you don't know that by now, we got to start getting you to grasp that concept. Wisdom is everything. Knowledge is power. Okay, we're going to get right into it. Now, last month we talked about some key factors with burnout. Listen, I hit burnout so bad, y'all. I had to take some time, okay? I had to take some time for myself because I was actively engaged in a season of burnout, okay? I was literally just in emotions. But I honestly felt like that while I was waking up and doing the motions of everything that I need to get accomplished, or at least being thoroughly transparent, the basic things that I needed to get accomplished, what was priority in those days of during that time, I felt like I was dropping the ball. And honestly, I was dropping the ball, but we have to get to a point of where sometimes you are going to drop the ball. You are not perfect, Patty. You are not perfect, Paul. Sometimes you're going to get in seasons of where you are dropping the ball. You are not moving in your full capacity. You're not doing all the things that you know you're supposed to be doing, okay? 1 is realizing it. 2 is acknowledging it. And 3 is an action plan of how you are going to get out of that stage of burnout, how you are going to get back on top of your P's and Q's and doing all the things that you know that you need to be doing without being burnt out. Okay, so we have to get out of that season, out of that situation of burnout. Now, last episode, we discussed a few things of how to do that. Me personally, I did the same. I had to take the time to prioritize what I can do now and then what can be put off for later. But in that place, I am implementing ways to restore my energy, okay? Ways to get out of that burnout phase. So I made a list of all the things that I needed to do outside of working, because we already know we work, get that out the way, but what can you be doing in between that time? So for those breaks, what can you be doing during your lunch hour, your 15-minute breaks, however that look? What can you be doing during that time to where you're slowly implementing tasks that will cater to you? And then outside of work, what do you have to do that is priority for that week? Now, for me, I went a step further. I broke it down. I was like, okay, I have this set of tasks that I need to get done this week. Let me put it by the day. Let me break it down, because if I look at it as a whole, I get overwhelmed, and it's like, oh, I got so much to do in so little time. Let me break it down. I was, in a sense, using that Pomodoro technique. I would take my tasks and I would divide them by the days of the week. So if I'm taking the first 3 tasks and I'm putting them on Monday, or the second set of tasks and I'm just dividing them in between the days, so that 1, I can get the task done, but 2, I'm spacing them out so that I can allocate my mental and my physical energy to accomplishing these tasks. But realistically, I knew that I could not get all those done in one day. So I made a plan and I had to stick to it. But along with those tasks that I needed to do, I implemented my self-care back into my day-to-day routines. So whether that be I am taking the time to meditate, and y'all, meditation don't have to be like all the whistles and bells. Like for me, honestly, if I'm going or coming from somewhere and I have some extra time, I will sit in my car for about 10-20 minutes in silence, because honey, sometimes I just need that peace and quiet, but I also need to turn my brain off. So if I'm sitting there and I'm having my moment of silence, it's like, okay, Kaylin, we're not thinking about all the many tasks. We are literally just sitting here. And for me, I sometimes would do the five senses. If I can't turn my thoughts off, I revert to the five senses. So I can feel two things. I focus on seeing whatever it is that's in my visual. I focus on the smell. I don't do the taste, because unless I'm drinking the water, because usually I'm not eating in the car, but you know, do what works best for you. And for me, my quiet time in the car, honey, that's one of my sanctuaries. Like, because I'm always on the go. So my car turned into my sanctuary. I'll park it and it's quiet time. Or I'll listen to some soft music or whatever the case that will literally calm my nerves and bring me into this space of peace. And that's okay for me. But in addition to that was, okay, we're going to take a break from social media. We're not scrolling for 2 hours, or I'm setting a limit of where I can only scroll for 10 to 20 minutes. Okay. I aimlessly scroll sometimes. Like, so for me, in order to prevent that, if I'm not being mindful of the time, I'm going to set a time on my watch. Like, all right. And then after that, I just got to get off, and it's going to be what it's going to be. And it's okay. But after that, it's like, okay, now that I've stopped scrolling, it's time for bed, or it's time to get ready for bed. Like, just implementing those breaks for me to where I'm being more disciplined, but I'm taking the time to replace the actions of what I was doing. So whether I would be scrolling for 2 hours or watching TV, instead it is I'm putting a time limit on it, and then I'm using the remainder of that time to read, maybe to journal, or sit there in silence. I use that time to pray. Like, I'm using that time to just cater to myself. Whether I have something to write about or not, it's still, I got that pen and pad, and I might just be looking at it for the first 10 minutes. And it's just like, okay, well, I know one thing to write: today's date, my name, and I might question myself. Write down, Kaylin, how you feeling? How was your day today? Like, talk to yourself. If you're journaling and you don't know what to say, like, just sit there for a second, write, scribble. The words might come to you in that time. It might not, but it's okay, because you actually took that time to focus on trying to journal. And eventually you can get in the habit of writing, how you felt. How was your day? What are your thoughts? Like, just being able to process the day that you had, or being able to process the thoughts that you had. But in addition to journaling, it was like, you know what? I need to get back into nature. And listen, I am not a winter person for real. Like, I like the fashion of winter, but I do not like the cold. So being outside in the cold, we battle. Me and the cold battles, okay? But that's something that I know about myself, but I also know that I love nature, and nature helps rejuvenate my spirit. So it's all right. It's that season regardless. It's time to bundle up, and I'm going to sit outside, or I'm going to take a walk 5-10 minutes. Like, it's fine. I got to do what I got to do so that I can get out of my stage of burnout. And so that's what I did. I would be outside, I would journal, I would sit in silence. I would make sure that I am going to bed earlier, doing my full skincare routine, like just catering to myself, reading and praying, and just getting back to the basics of things that I know helps rejuvenate my soul, things that I know helps me get back on track, but I am pacing myself so that I don't go hard and then stop immediately. Like, because that does happen. We can be doing all the things in one instance and then be doing nothing at all in the next because you didn't pace yourself. And for me, sometimes I have those seasons of where I go full on in and I'm doing all the things, but then I hit a roadblock and I stop. I stop with the progress that I've made. I have to, in a sense, start all over. It's like taking 5 steps forward and 10 steps back. But we have to get to a place of where we can balance and handle the rhythm of implementing new skills or implementing new habits and behaviors while also continuing the current responsibilities and tasks that we already have to do on a day-to-day basis. Okay? Now, it is all those things and so much more that helps me get out of my burnout stage. But for a fact, hands down for me, one of the biggest things that helps me get out of burnout is literally a road trip. Listen, whether that be a 30-minute road trip or a 2-hour road trip, if I can take a road trip, if I have time to take a road trip, I will hop on the highway or hop on a plane so quick, because sometimes we just need a change of scenery to take a step back, regroup, rejuvenate, and then get back on the horse and be all about all the business and things in between, okay? I recently took a road trip. In that road trip, it was all about disconnecting and just being in the moment, okay? Being in the present. So I was literally in the present. Like, I wasn't constantly paying attention to my phone. I made sure that the place that I picked did not have a TV because I wanted it to just be me in that moment, enjoying the atmosphere, enjoying the good food, enjoying the entertainment, being outside, like just doing all the things of truly being in that moment of where I presently am, okay? So sometimes I will take road trips constantly, but they help rejuvenate me. Whether I have busy road trips and it's all about business and things, or I am having a leisure road trip and it's about making new memories and experiencing life, I take both of them with full appreciation because I'm going to learn something, I'm going to have a good time and experience something new. And, you know, I'm going to make the best out of it because I know that being able to travel is one thing that replenishes my soul. Being able to see, like even just driving, being able to see the trees changing is something about being on a trip and traveling that helps me regroup and get myself together. Now, Sundays are my days for getting ready for the week, making sure that I have all my tasks aligned to the days and all the things. It's my days to prep, but it's also my days to rest. Now, with that being said, I was on my way back. Y'all, I was having a conversation with my best friend and we talked. And this is why I say in everything that we talk about, you have to be aware of yourself and the things that you do, but you also have to have a great support system who is rooting for you in the most authentic and pure loving way, okay? My support system is top tier. I love them. I appreciate them. They are everything to me. Now, with that being said, you also have to understand that with a great, loving, authentic support system, sometimes they will call you out on your stuff. But you have to be willing to accept that, okay? And the reason why I say this is because me and my best friend was talking. She was like, Kaylin, what you got going on? Let's have a real conversation for a moment. I'm like, okay, I'm a little nervous. You know, people tell you that they want to talk to you about something. Your heart kind of drops. You know, you get the like, oh, what is it? You get that anxious feeling, that nervousness. And for me, that's what happened. I'm like, what I do now? Like, what's about to happen? But literally, we had a good conversation. And these conversations, we check in quite often about what we have going on in life, and you know, just making sure that we are holding each other accountable and that we're constantly being on the right track. So she let me know, like, hey, you've been slacking. What's been going on? You've been doing the bare minimum, or you stopped doing X, Y, and Z. Like, what's going on? Are you okay? Talking to me, you know? And in that conversation, we discussed burnout. We discussed resetting and rejuvenating. We discussed plans for the future. We discussed when we are going to start and how that looks. And when you have conversations about implementation of actions, when you get that call to action and you have that feeling and you like, oh, I want to start this new journey, but I don't know when. When you have the thought, put a date on it. Okay, you will never get started for real if you don't have a specific date of when you are going to start acting. Okay, then too, you have to plan how that looks. Okay, so for me, it was, you know what, starting on Monday, really starting when we got back, because Sunday was my preparation day. But starting on Monday, I'm doing X, Y, and Z. And this is what my week looked like. I'm getting back on track, but I'm going to do it better this go round, because I'm going to ensure that I am sticking to the things that constantly replenishes my soul, so that I don't get burnt out, or so that I can proactively counteract the burnout. Okay, with having that conversation and talking through how that looks, it made me more willing to implement the change and to act on it. Okay, so I made an action plan. I've been sticking to it. Sometimes you might have to be like, listen, I'm gonna need you to be my accountability partner starting off, until I can really grasp the hang of doing these behaviors and get in the groove of what it is that I'm trying to do. Sometimes you need to say, hey, I need you to check in, like, call me, text me, make sure that I done did the task for the day. And that's okay. It is good that you are leaning on your support system. I have to do that sometimes too. Like, I love being organized and productive and all the things, but that also comes with knowing myself and being self-aware. Listen, sometimes I need help. And that's just like we talked about with my personal fitness journey. I have to have a personal trainer, because it's not just about being in the gym or going and doing a workout or living a healthier lifestyle with my eating habits. It's literally, look, I know sometimes I'm going to have my days of where I'm tired and I don't feel like it. I need a personal trainer to keep me accountable and say, hey, tired and all, we're going to go to the gym and we're going to get to it. You might stray away, but my personal trainer is going to catch me when I'm slipping. And that's part of accountability. That's part of the support system that you need, so that when you are slipping, when you are going down that slope, when you are entering or actively engaged in that burnout, they can help pull you out of that stage and get you back on track. Now, that's not to say that they take the full responsibility. They are just an addition. They are just a part of the formula to help you stay accountable, okay? Ultimately, it is up to you to get yourself out of the burnout stage, to get yourself rejuvenated, and to reset those behaviors and those habits that you are trying to implement, so that you can get to the next level in life, okay? Understand that it is okay to have your burnout seasons. You are going to have them. It's inevitable, but it is how you are proactively implementing the behaviors to combat the burnout, and then being aware of where you are. What stage of burnout are you in? Are you in the entry level? Are you fully active? Or are you just now coming out of that burnout stage? And make a plan as to how you are going to combat the burnout and still be able to elevate into the best version of yourself, okay? We always want to make sure that, one, we are appreciating our past, present, and future, okay? The past has helped you come this far and make you who you are, make you the strong-willed individual that you are, okay? So we're going to have appreciation for our past, because we are strong individuals and standing tall today. But We also want to have an appreciation for the present, because without the past, we couldn't be here where we are today. And we've learned a lot with ourselves and our previous situations and how we can do better and be better and all the things, which will in turn take us to elevated futures. But we also want to understand that there's always room to grow, and we want to have an appreciation for every step of the way in our lives, and understand that while we're figuring it out, we are appreciating the journey as it's happening, and that's appreciating the good, bad, and the ugly, the challenges of hitting rock bottom, and then the elevations of when we are up and successful and in our winning season, okay? Now, we are going to get on the ball, y'all. It is literally, good grief, it is the last month of 2024. So we're going to get on the ball. If you have not gotten on the ball yet this year, this is your month to get on the ball, because 2025, we say it every year, we're not going to play. We're doing this, and this. Our New Year's resolution is whatever. No, we're going to start today, okay? We're not waiting until next Monday. We're not waiting until the next day. We're going to start today. So if you have a positive habit that you want to implement, if you have a new journey that you've been thinking about, like, oh, I want to start doing this, or I want to start today. Take the small step and start today. There is no better time than the present, okay? Start today on whatever it is that you want to implement, whatever positive habits, tasks, behaviors, whatever new journey you want to implement. Start today to start your elevation journey. It's time to close old chapters and get into the new chapters. It's time to fully thrive and work and walk in our purpose, y'all. We are going to get it. We are going to elevate and continue evolving into our best selves. We are going to be on the lookout and preparing for 2025, because, honey, it's going to be the best year yet, but it starts today. You cannot expect for you to have a great next year if you're not starting today. Not next week, not tomorrow. Start today. All right. We will see y'all next week. We hope y'all like this episode. Make sure y'all like, follow, and subscribe us on all social media platforms. We'll see y'all later.